Hi, everybody, and welcome to Weekend Gameplan with Marcus Hersh. I'm Dan Illman alongside DRF handicapper and analyst Marcus Hersh. 3 Saturday stakes spot plays for you, beginning at Santa Anita. Let's throw up the field for the Grade 2 Buena Vista Stakes. Fillies and Mares going a mile, carded as race number 5 at the Great Race Place. This is your Saturday DRF race of the day, which means that you can download free Formulator past performances for the Buena Vista on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Marcus 8-5 on the morning line favorite, the one Jolie Olympica. She wowed a lot of folks with that triple-digit buyer victory in her North American debut.
Yes, I guess she had been wowing people before then, since she was 6-5 in that race, although it was a 5-horse field. But yeah, I don't know. I watched her races in Brazil. They were pretty impressive. Heavy ground in her Group 1 victory before she was purchased by Fox Hill Farms, Rick Porter, and sent to Richard Mandel in California. He has a long history of training South American horses. She got a long time off. You know, they say that you need like several months to acclimate to the North American hemisphere. If you're a northern hemisphere from the southern hemisphere, like Julie Olympica. Sometimes horses get away with it. Usually they're better off in the long term if they get the time. And I mentioned Mandela's history of success with such horses because I do think that certain trainers do better with these horses than others, and he's got the track record. We'll see what she is. I don't know about you, Dan, but I think that 8-5 is too generous a price. I think she'll be an odds-on favorite if I had to guess again in this race.
And if that's the case, that might be too short, because as brilliant as she was last time out, she beat a markedly inferior field. There are some really nice fillies and mares in here. And she's also stretching out from 5.5 furlongs to a mile with other speeds in here. I think she's very good, but we're going to find out a lot about her on Saturday.
Yeah, I think she might be good too, but I just think that it's overblown. I mean, sure, if she turns out to be an excellent horse, she can win this race and go on and do great things. But I think that the anointment of her as that horse right now is slightly premature. I'm not that concerned about the stretch out per se, because I do think that she's a miler type at heart, but she is taking a big step up in class. Mandela said she's kind of small and needs time between races. I watched her last workout. It was very unusual. Like, she worked with the horse she was supposed to catch, had to be hard held just for her to catch the horse. And maybe that's just by design. Maybe she doesn't work much on dirt. She's only raced on turf. She may be strictly a turf horse. But given the price, the step up in class, second start, after being imported, there's a bounce factor that's I think is still a potential, even though she's been given ample time between races. So I thought that given the paucity of other options among the graded stakes front, or just stakes front general on Saturday, I was willing to try to beat her.
Well, there are some accomplished horses in this race, including Grade 1 winner Lady Prancelot, but a filly with a ton of upside, that's where you landed. The number 2 Caressa just beat several of these horses last time out. We're going to take a look at that race right now. She's in the familiar West Point Silk. She's striking the front. She's now paired up 90 buyer tops in her last 2 races. This was not a bad turf debut at all.
Well, what gives me hope that she could do better, and I think she's going to have to do better, is that she didn't exactly ace that test, I wouldn't say, in that she was too headstrong in the early going. And that has been a continuing sort of characteristic in her races. And I think from watching the one workout I could find that was recent at all, she's a very keen going horse. I do think that, she's only had a handful of starts, 4 two-turn races, one turf race. I don't know why she couldn't continue to get better at that. I do think I know they're going to be sending that horse Jolie Olympica to the lead. That's what they said the plan was. So I would like to see a fast pace, and I'd like to see her just settle slightly better. And I think you said upside. I do think she still has considerable upside. She wasn't ready to be a racehorse apparently in the spring of 2019, but pretty much everything she's done since coming back into action has been, on an upward arc. She's an Uncle Mo. The pedigree on the bottom side is more dirty, but Uncle Mo's like the best ones of them often are better on grass. And I think that she's got a chance to get a pretty decent trip and be higher than her morning line odds of 4-1 and take a step forward and potentially upset Julia Olympica.
Let's move down to Tampa Bay Downs. Nice card at Tampa Bay on Saturday. Let's throw up the field for the Turf Dash. And this is a really competitive group of horses going 5 furlongs for $100,000. Extravagant Kid, the number 8, is going to take a lot of money. He is 5-2 on the morning line. He is a capable sprinter, whether it is dirt, whether it is turf, whether it is synthetic. And he's coming into this race red hot off 2 dirt wins at Gulfstream.
Yeah, he's really good. And he beat the horse that I liked in this race, Just a Holic, at Colonial Downs last summer. But I do like Just a Holic to turn the tables on this horse. Extravagant Kid is 7. He has been running without a meaningful break of any kind since March of 2019. He just ran on January 18th. He is, as you mentioned, paired up big wins. He has nowhere to go at this moment in time but down. I'd be surprised if he even can run back to his last performance, which I thought was excellent, really. Whereas Just a Holic is, to me, like fresh and sitting on a big race. He hasn't run since September. I don't know why there was a break, but he certainly ran well fresh, and it had been a long layoff when we returned to action, Dan, last June at Monmouth Park, where I thought he was more visually impressive than his 89 Beyer speed figure in that allowance race, and came back to validate that with a series of strong performances. I'm throwing the Turf Monster at Parks out. That was run over a very chewed up, boggy course. He didn't handle it at all. I hope that it's very fast and firm. He loves that. And the outside draw is perfect for a horse who has a ton of speed, but is perfectly capable of sitting just outside another horse or two. His workouts, to me, look like he is coming into this race in great shape. He actually is not even fully exposed on turf, having just run 5 times on grass. Like Just a Holic a lot in this race.
And we just saw him give that field at Monmouth a comprehensive beating in the Rainbow Air, his last start. You mentioned he runs well fresh. He seems to be training lights out. 3-1 on the morning line for the number 10, Just a Holic, in the Turf Dash. At Oaklawn, the feature race is for Arkansas breds, and it's a full field at that. Let's throw it up. The Downthedustyroad Stakes, carded as race number 9. And the favorite in here is going to come from the Steve Asmussen barn, and that's the 9, Bye Bye Jay. Bye Bye Jay ran into Kafefi last time out in the Miss Preakness. She is taking a substantial drop in class, to be sure, but this long layoff might give you cause for pause.
Well, I mean, I trust Asmussen with anything, really. I mean, he's a great horseman, and if she can be ready and she's the same horse, I'm sure that she would be ready. But I mean, maybe they just waited around. You could see, since she's an Arkansas bred and there's such good money for Arkansas bred at Oaklawn, maybe she had a niggling problem or something that cost her 90 days, and they said, let's just pull the plug and wait. Fine, well, good, whatever. I mean, if she runs her top race, she's going to win this probably. But I'm not at all convinced that she's going to. This is a big field with a lot of moving parts. And I thought, given the wagering menu and stakes competition on Saturday, it was a place to try to fish around a little bit for a price.
And your price play in here is 15-1 on the morning line. That's the number 7, Dixie Flyer. Let's go back to her race 2 starts back, going a 2-turn 7 furlongs at Delta Downs. She's the gray. She makes the front. She wins this race very easily. Just look how geared down she is, pretty much the final 100 yards. A really nice performance. Yeah. Last time out, I think, opened up her lungs. She should be set for this one.
Well, I mean, I think they were kind of taking an edge, running her for 15, non-winners of 4 in that race that we looked at. The one race, Dan, that I really thought was most pertinent to this spot, hopefully, is her August 19th race at Prairie Meadows, which was an open allowance race. It wasn't a great field, but she showed enough speed that she went to the front and made a clear lead going 6 furlongs, the distance of this race. Those 7 furlong and 6.5 furlong races at Delta are too two turns, excuse me. So it's a different kind of speed, but I am encouraged that she had the speed to get to the front at a regular sized oval at Prairie Meadows, lead all the way. That is my hope for her trip here. I don't understand this horse, Sakani, who's number 6, just drawn inside. She just ran February 17th. Is she even going to run in this race? The trainer has another horse. The trainer and owner have another horse in this race. I am guessing that she might not even start. Maybe she will, but if she does, she's drawn inside this horse, Dixie Flyer. That horse, the trainer, I say Gonzalez. I've been following his progress at Delta. He also runs in Texas. He is approaching, he's a semi-super trainer, shall we say. Very high percentage. His horses, run. If you see a top number somewhere back in their form, you can look for them maybe to pop it unexpectedly. She is going to be every bit of 15-1 with with Jermaine Bridgman, a jockey that nobody is like clamoring to bet on in Oaklawn Park riding. I just hope that she can break sharply, make the front, and we'll see what happens from there.
And this horse improved 20 buyer points the last time she went second off the layoff at Oaklawn last year. You mentioned this barn. I did a little research in Formulator. They seem to excel with horses going second off a layoff of 2 to 4 months. Dixie Flyer, especially if the 6 horse, Sakani, is withdrawn from this race, she might be able to make the front. She is a very nice price. To recap Marcus's 3 selections this weekend, at Santa Anita, he likes the number 2 Caressa in the Buena Vista Stakes. At Tampa Bay Downs, it's the number 10 Justaholic, and then at Oaklawn Park, it's the number 7 Dixie Flyer. Best of luck with your wagers.